If you're looking for the most affordable neighborhood here in Bellingham, well, you have found it. Right now, we are in Sudden Valley. Hey everyone, my name is Aldo. I'm here with the Levain real estate team in Bellingham. And in this video, I'm gonna talk to you all about Sudden Valley, why it's the most affordable, and why people live here, and just show you a lot of the amenities that Sudden Valley has to offer. So the reason why Sudden Valley is the most affordable area here in Bellingham is because it is farther out from Bellingham, from the city limits. You get these gorgeous trees, but in the wintertime when it gets dark and cold already here in Bellingham, it gets a little bit colder here in Sudden Valley and it gets darker a lot sooner. Now combine that with the location and with the fact that it is built on a hill, a lot of houses don't have yards and it can make it difficult for a lot of families. Now on the plus side is that a lot of the houses out here, you can buy a house and it could be 2,500 square feet, even more, and it can be affordable. The average sold price here this year so far in 2023 in Sudden Valley is about $650,000. Now, for those of you who are like, that's a lot of money. Yes, it is, but when you compare it to Bellingham, the average price sold actually in Bellingham, the city limits, is about $850,000. So that's why it is the most affordable here. I'm gonna go inside, I'm gonna show you a lot more about Sudden Valley, the features, the amenities, what there is to offer here if you're looking at buying a house here in this neighborhood. I'm also gonna talk about why this may be a great fit for you or why this may not be a good fit for you. So let's go inside. I'm gonna show you a lot of drone shots and a lot more video of the whole area of Sudden Valley. All right, so now that we're back inside, let's talk about the most affordable neighborhood in Bellingham. And like I said, it is Sudden Valley. So before I go to the reasons, you have to understand, there's no pros and cons list in this video. Are there pros and cons in Sudden Valley? Yes, absolutely. But you have to understand some of the reasons why people love moving there or living in Sudden Valley are some of the reasons why people really don't want to live in Sudden Valley and why they move out. So let's go over some of these reasons here. And the first one has to be the location. Sudden Valley is located about 20 minutes away from the main core area of Bellingham. So if you follow Lakeway Drive into Lake Whatcom Boulevard, and it takes about 20 minutes to get into Sudden Valley. If you get stuck behind someone who's slow, that 20 minutes can be a lot longer, and it can be kind of annoying because there's not many places that you can really pass people because it is somewhat windy. Now it is a really pretty drive because it follows pretty much right along Lake Whatcom. You do get some really pretty scenery out there. Now the purpose why people love Bellingham so much is because the accessibility and really how close everything is to everything. Sudden Valley really doesn't have that. It does have a little tiny mini mart, a pizza place, a gas station. It does have like a Mexican restaurant, but other than that, there's no real anchor store there in Sudden Valley. So if you need groceries, like real groceries, you're gonna have to drive 20 minutes into town, into Lakeway most likely, to go to Whole Foods, get all your groceries, and drive 20 minutes back. So if you're in town and you're working, you might as well get all your groceries before you head home. But if you're working from home, you better get those delivered or it's gonna be a little bit of a wait. Because if you forget something that's pretty important for your dinner or for your lunch or whatever, you're gonna have to drive, shop around, and drive home. And next thing you know, it's gonna be quite a bit of time. So that could be something people really get annoyed of, is that drive and that commute back and forth, especially if they're living in Bellingham. Now, people also like that commute and like living away from Bellingham because believe it or not, some people think that Bellingham is just getting too big. Yes, I know, we're not in Seattle or anywhere, but some people think that Bellingham is just getting overcrowded and they just don't want to be close to all that stuff. So they like living out in Sudden Valley and they don't mind, you know, being away from people because it is really quiet, it is peaceful. Like I said, Sudden Valley is its own little sub-city out there, and the community and the support is really, really great. There's a lot of people that will live in Sudden Valley, that will grow up in Sudden Valley, buy their first house, and then they'll sell it and then upsize into Sudden Valley. Just know that Sudden Valley isn't just some place where first-time home buyers just go out and purchase their first home. There's actually a lot of people that really do enjoy it out there, and they want to stay out there for quite a long time. So as I mentioned earlier, Sudden Valley pretty much sits on a mountainside. And Sudden Valley is very, very hilly. It has a lot of big trees and it is shaded pretty heavily. Now, there isn't any sidewalks out there, or there's not very many street lights. The walkability is really good, but you don't have any sort of safe net that you feel when you're walking your kids or you're walking your dog. And you're gonna be on the same street as people are driving. Now, people aren't driving crazy out there, but you just don't have sidewalks, so you don't feel as safe as if you were, walking in a different neighborhood in Bellingham that do have sidewalks or even bike lanes. Now, with those hills come real estate. So real estate, you have to build a house on these hills, and a lot of houses don't have backyards or little to no yards at all. If you do, they're pretty much a side yard or a front yard. Yes, this does make your house very low maintenance, but you're gonna see a lot of houses out there that are gonna be tri-levels. You're also gonna see homes that will have a main living on the upstairs, but then they'll have a daylight basement downstairs. Now, everything is built along with the mountain, so you're gonna have nice big decks, which would be really great, but you won't have yards, so your kids or your dogs or your pets won't have a lot of room or area to play in. But the upside is the houses in Sudden Valley tend to be a lot bigger than the houses more in the proper city of Bellingham, because you do have a lot more space and you do have a lot more area to build a house. You're just gonna have to build it a little bit more up and a little bit wider, which means that you will have a lot bigger of a home and more space inside than you would in some areas in Bellingham. Sudden Valley is a great outdoorsy place. People love Sudden Valley because it feels like you are in the woods, like a cabin in the woods. So if you go and look a lot of houses here, there's a lot from contemporary to modern to really cozy cabin, A-frame looking home. People like being out there, and they like having their fireplace on, and they like having it being super quiet and hearing all the birds and hearing the nature. And if people are working from home, it can be a real quiet serenity and feel very peaceful. Sudden Valley doesn't have a bunch of amenities, but they have a few, and I think they're good ones. So Sudden Valley will have its own golf course. Yes, it is a public golf course. People love being members there. It's a big community. Golf has grown obviously in the last 4 or 5 years, and people really love going and golfing out there. You can play 9, you can play 18, whatever you like. It sits pretty much right on Lake Whatcom, so there's quite a bit of holes on the front 9 especially that you have beautiful views of the mountains of Lake Whatcom and just a great scenery. Like I said, nature all around you, especially with deer just hopping around everywhere, which is really, really cool. And on top of the golf course, Sudden Valley, you are gonna have a clubhouse. You're gonna also have tennis courts. You're also gonna have a boat launch, so you're not gonna have to travel that 20 to 25 minutes into Bellingham to launch your boat on the north side of Lake Whatcom. You can just go right there. You can, if you have a slip, perfect. Just hop onto your boat, go right in, or just launch your boat into the water. Also, what Sudden Valley has, which is really, really cool, is they're gonna have what is called an AM and PM beach. The AM beach there, you're gonna get a lot of sun in the morning and a little bit in the afternoon. But as soon as the sun kind of goes over, reaches about 1 or 2 p.m., you're gonna have a lot of sun on the south side of that beach, which is the PM beach, because right in the middle is like big old, like island looking blob thing with a bunch of trees, which is really cool. But still, those areas you can go and have a picnic at, you can go swimming, you can go out canoeing, kayaking, or just hanging out. And it's a really cool place where a lot of people go, and they'll go and walk their dogs and do a lot of cool things outdoors as well. So here in the Northwest, especially for those of you that are looking at moving over into Bellingham or into the area of the Northwest, it gets dark here about 4 or 4:30 p.m. in the winter time, and the sun rises about 8 a.m. So we don't get a lot of light in the winter. In the summertime, it's like 4 a.m. till 10:30 p.m., which is great. In the wintertime, when most of the city of Bellingham is getting dark about 4 or 4:30, Well, Sudden Valley, you're losing a good hour or two of sunlight because, like I said, it does sit on that mountain. It does have massive trees, so you're gonna lose a lot of light very, very early, and it's gonna get dark in the afternoon quite earlier than the rest of the city. With darkness and coldness comes a lot more freezing temperatures there. When it does rain or when it does snow, it's a little bit harder to travel within Sudden Valley because especially if it snows, the snow plows can only move so fast to clear a lot of it. So if you don't have a good enough car to go up some hills and stuff, you could be snowed in or have really trouble getting out of Sudden Valley and into Bellingham. That there is a reason why people don't really move to Sudden Valley and why people also move to Sudden Valley. Now, I know I've mentioned everything about Sudden Valley about being dark, hilly, so on and so forth, but on the other side of Sudden Valley, once you cross Lake Whatcom Boulevard, where the golf course is located, you will find a lot of houses where there's no trees out there. So you're gonna get a lot of sun from sun up to sundown. You will still be on hills. You'll have a little bit more yards. It's gonna be a lot more brighter and it's gonna be a lot more friendly for people who are walking. So there is two sides, but like I said, the majority of Sudden Valley sits on that hill where it's a lot more shadier. The other side is gonna be a lot more brighter. Houses will tend to be a little bit more expensive because you do have a lot more sun. All right, guys, well, that's all I have for you today. Once again, this isn't a pros and cons about Sudden Valleys because the same reasons people move out here are the same reasons why people don't want to live out here. Please, guys, I get calls, text messages, and emails from people just like you who are looking at moving to Bellingham or the surrounding areas. If you're looking at moving into the area, into Bellingham or Whatcom County, I'll leave all my information down below. Please reach out to us and talk a lot more about the amenities you're looking for and maybe what areas are better that suit your needs. We'll come up with a customized plan. But once again, guys, my name is Aldo. I'm with the Levain Real Estate team with Windermere Real Estate, and we'll see you next time.